Getting ready for your practical driving test in the UK and feeling those nerves kick in? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. So today, we're going to break down 5 essential tips from an expert driving instructor, and we've got one golden rule at the end that's going to help you get that pass with a lot more confidence.
Look, it's totally normal. You've got the pressure, the examiner sitting next to you, a million little things to remember. It can feel like a lot. But what if you could just swap out that anxiety for some genuine confidence? Well, that's exactly what we're about to do.
So we're going to give you a real, actionable game plan. These aren't just little tricks, They're the core principles that will make you a safer, more decisive driver, not just for your test, but for every drive after. So let's get into it. First up, and this one is a game changer, giving yourself enough time to actually see what's going on around you. Now, it sounds super simple, right? But it completely changes how you drive. The secret isn't just about looking, it's about creating the time to process what you see. Okay, so instead of slamming on the brakes right at a junction, just try easing off the gas a few car lengths earlier. We're not talking about crawling along for ages, just giving yourself a gentle 3 to 5 second roll towards that junction. This tiny change gives your brain so much more room to breathe, to spot that perfect gap in traffic at a roundabout, and to make way smoother, safer decisions.
And that leads us perfectly into our second tip, which builds right on top of the first. Once you've used that extra time to observe and you've made a decision, the next crucial step is to act on it, and act decisively. This is all about knowing when it's time to go and when it's time to wait.
All this is so important. Hesitation is a driver's worst enemy. If you've looked at a roundabout, you've seen a safe gap, and you've decided, okay, I'm going, then you have to go. Glancing back to second-guess yourself is what causes people to brake suddenly in the middle of a junction, and that is way more dangerous than just sticking with your initial, safe decision. This slide shows it perfectly. Your commitment point completely changes depending on what you can see. So, steps 1 and 2. If you're creeping up to a blind band with parked cars everywhere, you've got to slow right down, take a good look, and assess the situation. You only commit to going, like you see in step 3, once you can actually see that your path is clear. It's all about matching your actions to what you can see ahead. All right, tip number 3. Think of this as your secret instruction manual. The road itself. All those signs and markings on the road, they're not just helpful suggestions. They are direct commands, and your examiner is expecting you to be fluent in reading them.
Let's talk about speed for a second. Yeah, you absolutely need to know the speed limit. But here's the thing. You don't always have to be pushing right up against it. The real skill is driving at a speed that feels safe and comfortable for the current conditions. If it's pouring rain on a 60-mile-per-hour road, driving at 50 might be the much smarter, safer choice. You're the one in control.
Here's the key takeaway on this. At the start of your test, the examiner will say something like, "Follow the road ahead unless road signs and markings direct you otherwise." That "unless" is huge. It means if a sign tells you to move into a different lane or to stay out of a bus lane, you're expected to see it and do it without being told again. So keep your eyes peeled for those giveaway lines and lane markings. They're your guide. Okay, this next tip is all about what's going on inside your head. Driving isn't just a physical skill, right? It is absolutely a mental game. You've put in the hours, you've done the lessons, now it's time to actually trust your own instincts. Seriously, if you pull up to a junction and your gut is screaming, "Don't go, it's not safe," then stop. Don't pull out just because you're worried the examiner is getting impatient. Trust me, they're not. They would much rather see you make a safe decision than a fast one. Trying to guess what they want is a recipe for disaster. Just drive for yourself, drive safely, and you'll be driving exactly how they want you to. All right, tip number 5. Let's tackle the thing that causes so much stress for so many people, maneuvers. Whether you're doing a bay park or a parallel park, remember this. The goal is not perfection. It's all about safety and control.
Let's bust a huge myth right now. Gently touching the curb when you're reversing is not an automatic fail. It happens. The big difference here is control. A little light touch that you immediately notice and correct, that shows the examiner you're aware and you're in control. But a hard, uncontrolled thud against the curb, that shows a loss of control. And that is what will get you a fail.
So what does a safe maneuver actually look like? Well, it means you're controlling your speed really well. You're constantly looking all around you, and you're aware of any pedestrians or other cars.
You don't have to be perfectly straight in the parking bay. Even if you're touching one of the lines, it's usually okay. As long as you've shown you're safe and in control, you've done exactly what you need to do.
So, we've gone through 5 amazing, practical tips. But there's one last piece of advice that holds all of this together. You can think of it as the one golden rule that will give you the absolute best shot at passing.
So what's the single most important thing you can do to pass your test? It all comes down to this one simple, powerful principle.
And there it is, seriously. If your instructor, the professional who has sat next to you for hours and hours, gives you the thumbs up, it means they have seen you demonstrate all the skills you need to pass again and again. Walking into that test center knowing they believe in you is probably the biggest confidence boost you can possibly get. Trust their expertise.
So think about it for a second. Which of these really stands out to you? Is it giving yourself more time to observe? Or maybe being more decisive when you commit? Or could it just be learning to trust your own judgment a bit more? Pick one and make it your focus on your next drive. That's how you turn test day nerves into test day success. Good luck out there.